This is from Bill Barnwell ranking the I'll read you the top 10 and we'll discuss because I'm not going to read every team. That's pointless.
Yeah.
But I will tell you which team had the worst offseason. Because I thought this was kind of funny.
Let's see.
Can you guess who had the worst offseason?
I mean, the Seahawks traded the best player they ever had, so that's not good. The Bucks almost lost Brady, but he came back. The Chiefs traded Tyreek Hill, but I don't know. They're not gonna have the worst offseason. The Packers lost
Devontae
whatever his
Adams.
name is, that receiver.
You don't even
Devontae
know.
Adams. Bro, my brain is not in football mode right now. It's freaking June.
Get ready,
I'm
fantasy
good.
in 2 months.
I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. I think that'd be funny
Yeah.
for the show, and I hope it is.
You're right, it was the Seahawks.
Yes,
Getting
let's
Russell
go.
Wilson. They paid Quandre Diggs. They just lost Wilson. Didn't really add that much back. I mean, they got Drew Lock
Yep.
and Fant. Drafted a good left tackle in the first round, but they were the worst.
Where's
All
my
right.
team on the list? Are they in the top 10?
I will scroll. I'm trying to find the Vikings right now. They were. I don't think they were in the top teams. I already looked at this. They're 17th.
Okay, that's mid.
Yeah, there's definition of mid. All right, I'm gonna read you the top 10. We'll discuss and we'll see. All right, so number 10, the Dolphins. Number 9,
Yeah.
the Packers. 8,
The
Rams.
Packers were in the top 10.
Yep, 8
For what?
Rams.
For what?
7 Jets. Number 6, the New York Giants. Number 5, the Ravens. Number 4, the Bucks. Number 3, the Chargers. Number 2, the Philadelphia Eagles. And the number 1 team that had the best offseason was the Denver Broncos.
Okay, so Bill over here loves Russell Wilson.
Yeah, so let's start with the 10th. Let's start with number 10, the Dolphins. They got Tyreek Hill. They added Teron Armstead, a great left tackle. Connor Williams, a guard. They got Gesicki back. They added Chase Edmonds. I feel like they had a better offseason than 10th. Now I'm reading all these names they brought in. They brought in Raheem Mostert, too. They almost made a move for Watson, but obviously with that bad thing going on, yeah, I don't want to get into detail with that right now, but
Yeah, that's a way to
Just gonna-
describe it, that bad thing.
yeah, that bad thing going on. I feel like they add a lot of good guys, and I feel like the Dolphins are in prime position to make the playoffs now if Tua improves. So I do feel like they're better than the 10th best offseason. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, that list of names is impressive. They get one of the
And
best
they added another
receivers in
D-end
the NFL.
and Melvin Ingram for 1 year, although he's not that great. But they also
Yeah, I guess-
extended Xavier Howard. I
I
feel like
mean,
they made
that
all the
is-
moves they needed to.
That's a great offseason. It's just they weren't a very good team to begin with. So I guess that holds them back. It seems like all their new players are going to be all of their best players. So
That's
I don't know. I
true.
mean, I guess that's the definition of a great offseason,
Yeah, that
right?
should.
So,
Isn't that how it should be?
so yeah,
I don't
they
think
probably
like a
should be higher
contender
than
is
10.
supposed to get that much better the next year.
They probably
Yeah, the
should be higher.
Dolphins, because they added everything that they needed. They filled out all their weaknesses. I mean, you could say what you want about Tua if you think he's a good quarterback or not, but they didn't have a deep threat. They didn't have a great receiver. I mean, Devontae Parker is fine, but this is Tyreek Hill we're talking about.
Well, what about
game
Waddle?
changer.
Waddle is
Well,
good.
yeah, they've Waddle, but he's not Tyreek Hill, obviously. He was just a rookie.
No.
So add Tyreek. They didn't have a left tackle. Teron Armstead's an elite left tackle they got from the Saints. He's been a veteran for a while. They added another guard. They fixed their offensive line and added Tyreek and Chase Edmonds, and they've had garbage running backs the past like 3 or 4 years, I feel like. Who even was their running back last year? They had Gaskin, right?
Yeah, it was Gaskin.
Well, they
And
added Chase
Breida,
Edmonds. They added Chase Edmonds and Mostert and Sony Michel. I mean, they're not. None of those guys are elite, but I feel like that's pretty decent depth for 3 guys, along with
too.
the
No, they have good
offense.
weapons now for sure.
And they have a new coach. No Brian Flores anymore either. Number 9 was the Packers, as I mentioned before.
Yeah, they had a
Um,
better offseason than them for sure. The Packers lost their best weapon.
Yeah, they
lost
got rid
their
of.
best pass
They lost
rusher.
his Darius Smith. Yep. They added
their offseason
people in
wasn't
the
bad.
draft, but they're rookies. I mean, I don't know how much we can count on rookies. Sometimes
Their offseason wasn't even good, let alone better.
Yeah.
Better than the
The
Dolphins.
8th was the
so
Rams.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
The,
Rams maybe should be higher. I mean, they just added their best players again.
they pretty much just kept their whole team intact,
They
and they
added
got
Allen Robinson though.
They got Bobby Wagner. Yes, so addition by subtraction, they got rid of Robert Woods, so that they let him go to the Titans, or they traded him, and then they got Allen Robinson, who I think most people would agree, he's an upgrade over Robert Woods. So they definitely got better. They don't have OBJ anymore, but I don't think they need him, to be honest. So
Who's 7?
the Jets.
Okay.
Their draft,
Another
they
good
signed the Niners
offseason.
guards, CJ Uzoma. They got obviously Sauce Gardner, who I met. They drafted all those guys. They had the best draft, people say. Garrett Wilson. Yeah, they almost got Tyreek Hill. If they landed Tyreek Hill, they definitely would have spiced it up more. But Miami did. They're the rival. Yeah, they definitely had a top 10 offseason. Oh, and they added Jordan Whitehead, a pretty good Bucks safety, and LaMarcus Joyner is coming back, returning from injury, this article says. Who's a pretty solid veteran safety.
Yeah, that's good. It just depends on the ceiling of
If
their
the
rookies.
Yeah. Same thing with the Giants at number 6.
There's no way the Giants should be above the Jets, though. That's another
Yeah, that
stupid
doesn't
thing.
make sense to me. They got Thibodeau, they got Evan Neal. Those were 2 home run picks, I feel like, in the draft. I mean, they haven't played a game. But they did add Brian. Oh, I mean, they did get Brian Dable, the Bills' offensive coordinator, is supposed to be a good coach. You see him chucking beers at
Okay,
the
but
Rangers
they don't have a
game.
quarterback. Like,
Yeah, they don't have
they're
a
dead.
quarterback. Yeah, they didn't really do a whole much besides getting those 2 guys in the draft. They lost Bradbury. Saquon's coming back. Andrew, I don't know. It said what they could have done differently. They have that blurb for every team. For the Giants, it said they should have signed a backup quarterback like Mitch Trubisky or Marcus Mariota, because they don't have a they don't even have like a real backup. I don't think it says really.
No, they don't have a starter either.
And what's next for them? Without much cap space, the Giants are going to sign their draft class and make it into training camp without injuries. And then maybe they could trade someone like Barkley or Leonard Williams, which seems more likely to happen this season. Yeah, you got to get rid of those contracts. Those are not great players at this point.
Top 5.
Yeah, top 5. Ravens. They added Marcus Williams, who the Jets were heavily in pursuit. I remember the Saints safety. And then they just drafted Kyle Hamilton, another supposed to be the best safety in the draft. So they fixed their part of their secondary, which they needed to fix. They brought back Morgan Moses, good solid tackle on a cheap deal. Calais Campbell came back. They pretty much re-signed the rest of their guys. Oh, they got rid of Hollywood Brown for a first-round pick. And they drafted a much-needed center, it says, in Tyler Lindenbaum out of Iowa, who was the best center in the draft. So, I mean, I'm going to trust the Ravens. I feel like they draft well every year, and they brought back some players. They brought in some players. They're going to be a good team again, I think, this year after missing the playoffs last year. So I do think their offseason was solid.
Yeah, they always have a good front office. It's just not, they didn't make as big of a splash as the Rams or the Dolphins or those teams.
Yeah. The Bucks, number 4. Brady came back, obviously the biggest news. And they signed Godwin to an extension. Ali Marpet retired. But then they got Shaq Mason. They traded with the Patriots. And then they brought back Leonard Fournette. They lost Whitehead, obviously, to the Jets. They lost Sue. They lost Pierre-Paul. There's a lot of losses, but they got Akeem Hicks. Big run stuffer, big dude in the middle for them. And they're trying to convince Gronk to come back. That's in the what's next section.
Yeah. I don't know if that's
So,
important.
I don't know. I mean, that was a fine offseason. I guess getting Brady back is something huge because they go from a 4-win team to a 12-win team with Brady.
Yeah.
Number 3, the Chargers. They paid Mike Williams, as we saw. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. They traded for Khalil Mack. That's gonna help next to Joey
that's
Bosa.
amazing.
And they added J.C. Jackson from the Patriots, one of the best corners in the league. They made some big splashes, big names. Yeah, I do, and they drafted some good players. What went wrong? There wasn't any great options for them at left tackle, so they didn't find anyone there that's that good. What's next for them? They have to work on an extension for Derwin James, who's been a great player when he plays, but I feel like
Yeah,
he's
he's
always
always
hurt.
injured.
He's always hurt. And this is saying they're afraid it will top the Jesse Bates, Minka Fitzpatrick, and maybe Jamal Adams extension. And can you really
Yeah,
pay
that's
a
not
guy who's
great.
hurt? And can you really pay a
It's
guy
not
who's always
great.
hurt like that? I don't know. Chargers will find out. Second was the Eagles. They had a lot of picks. They added Bradbury. They trade for AJ Brown. That's gonna help Jalen Hurts. They have AJ Brown now, Devonta Smith, and they traded back. They got some extra picks in future years. They added Traylon, or no, they didn't add Traylon Burks. They traded AJ Brown, or trade for AJ Brown, and just a bunch of other pieces they added. They signed Goddard to an extension. Yeah, just a solid team. I don't know why it's top three, but they definitely upgraded
I don't know why
their
it's better
team.
than the Chargers. I just don't know why.
I don't know
Like, it
either.
just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, they had a good offseason, but they're number two. Number one, the Broncos. Didn't really do that much besides, but when you get Russell Wilson, go from Drew Lock to
Yeah,
Russell
you
Wilson,
change your quarterback.
you change your to a top five quarterback. You're gonna be a playoff contender, and that's what the Broncos did. What's next? They will have to consider a new deal for Bradley Chubb, playing out his fifth-year option where he had 12 sacks last year, but he's been hurt a lot. He's missed 23 games in his career. What they could have done differently, this says they should have used their second-round pick on edge rusher to help out Bradley Chubb because obviously Von Miller's gone, and this should have signed Melvin Ingram III, who I believe went to the Dolphins or one of those teams I read off earlier. So their defense is still going to be good, I think. And what went wrong? Yeah, bringing back Melvin went wrong because they should have committed fully to Javonte Williams, who had a good stretch last year.
Yeah,
So I don't know
that
what they were.
doesn't make sense why you
So
do that.
Barnwell is complaining about that. He's also he did like the Randy Gregory signing, even though I think that's kind of dumb. 5 years, $70 million, but only $28 million is guaranteed. He's not some stud, but he's a solid player. Yeah, but so that's kind of funny. The Seahawks were 32nd. The Broncos were first. That's just what happens. You give away your quarterback,
Yep, I guess that makes sense.
and they play each other week 1.